Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are looking for the first signs of spring. I did search far and wide in my hometown for the early signs of spring, but it turns out, at least for me, that the best stuff is actually about a quarter of a mile from my house. I was starting at a place which I call the Peninsula, because as you'll probably see in the coming footage, we are basically surrounded 270 degrees by roads. So if you can hear a lot of traffic noise, that's why. But we're going to another location later to look for something else. And so that's a lot more secluded. So let's get to the whole point of this video then. Right, I'm starting off with my 24-70 instead of my macro, so I can actually sort of take in wider shots and go back and forth instead of just having to zoom with my feet essentially. But one of the things I might have to do is actually use my tripod, because the breeze today is, as you can see, moving around our first target, which is these blossoms on, I believe it's a plum tree. These, like even down here, it's like every so often, as you might be able to see, there's still a decent amount of movement. So with the added help of my tripod, I'll be able to hold the branch while taking a photo, while not having to actually hold the camera in hand. Right, this area where it's got a nice sort of orb of blossoms is going to be the main part of it, with the other parts up here in the background. And I'm going to sort of go for that particular angle. So I'll just get the tripod in place and I'll go through the settings with you. What I like with the particular composition I've got right now, and I'll show you in the back of the camera, is that down in the corner, just here, there's unopened blossoms. Then you've got the big main blossom in the middle, and then already there's some over here that have lost their petals already. So all within one shot you've got the three sort of stages of it already, which personally I like. Right, here's my shot. Because of the strong light, I've actually got it up at 1250th of a second, because and also I've decided to tripod mount it, and to give a bit of variation I'm actually letting it move, because in some pictures the background flowers are actually going in and out of shadow from the other branches. So whenever you get a little breeze, I've actually making it focus with continuous focus, and then it going up and down or side to side or whatever. And whenever it's a composition I like, wherever it is, then I can just shoot it. And obviously with that sort of shutter speed, I can actually basically stop it no matter what, which I thought was, compared to what I was going to do to begin with and hold it, it's just a lot less hassle, because you have to hold it in the right place, otherwise you end up moving it to the wrong bit, and you never know how the branch will then react after you've held it. It now waggles in a different direction sometimes. So yeah, I think I've got a couple of good shots already, but yeah, we're gonna probably move on to the other blossom tree, which is directly behind you right now, but it's closer to a big road, so it might be even louder. But there's some nice stuff, because it is actually split in two. There's some nice stuff quite close to the ground already, and then after we've had a good old look around that, we'll then move on to the daffodils. Most of them are over by the other tree, so but there is a sprinkling around here you might see in the background, but they've only just come out. It's only in the past few days that it's actually managed to warm up enough for them to all spring open. So yeah, I will pack up here and I'll meet you over there, and here's the shot if it's actually come out well. Right, we're over at the split cherry tree, or whatever you want to call it. This one seems to have a lot less open buds on it, like around here. So there'll be a noticeable difference in the shots when I take them. And also there is another tree that has got some nice backlighting on it, has some blossoms directly behind you, right here. So we'll be visiting that one after this one. So hopefully I can find a shot on that one, and we will be then onto there, and then the daffodils. Right, I'll show you the composition I've got over here, and the main thing is 3 blossoms, surrounded by the unopened ones. But I might actually do another one in a little bit, because here is the 3 down here, and I'll show you just that sort of selection. If you have a look on the back, there we go. Yeah, there's one in the top right there that is a bit distracting, so I might actually do another shot a bit higher to take that out. And also I might crop off these ones over here to, oh, I've defocused it now, to sort of simplify it. So I've taken the first one, and I'll move the tripod up, and then we'll see what the other one is, and you can choose which one is your favourite. I've actually changed to my Sigma 105 macro lens right now for it, because of the angle. It wasn't really able to exclude it as much as I wanted to, so I just decided to hop onto that one to just make it easier for myself. As you can see, it's not really, I don't know if you can see down here, well, I'll move you around a little bit. That's the from here to here is the working distance, so it's not all that macro, and hopefully we can get a decent shot here, and I might pop out the water. So let's currently the settings for this one is 1/640th f4 and ISO 100. I played around a bit with the aperture, but it's still f4 seems to be giving me a sort of soft but still sharp where I want it to be sort of look, because I don't want to get the whole thing sort of in focus, or just have the end of the stamen all of that being, trying to get it to f2.8 or something. So it's just, I think it gives quite a nice natural look to it without going over the top. I've closed the aperture down to about f8, so because I looked a bit more closely, and the stamen, because they're quite long on these flowers compared to the actual size of the flower, they were noticeably out of focus, so I've gone down to f8, and yeah, hopefully this will result in a better shot. What I think happened here was the longer focal length of the macro lens compressed the depth of field, resulting in a sharper fall off. meaning it became more apparent at the same aperture. So what looks soft at 70mm on my 24-70 is now completely out of focus on my 105 macro. If you take a closer look at the centre blossom where I focused, and you compare the shot from earlier, which is at f4 with the 24-70, to the new shots, the one without the water is at f4 to the one with the water taken at f8, you can see a notable difference between the three of them. The final shot with the water I think is the best one, as I think it accentuates the delicate nature of the flowers. Right, we're going over to this last blossoming tree to see what we can get. Right, for this tree so far I found a nice little trio of blossoms all together, and when it's because it's right in front of the trunk of it, we've actually got quite a nice dark background. I decided to do a short stack because surprisingly there's quite a bit of difference between the one just here, the closed one, and the one at the back. Because they're different angles, it makes it harder to get them all in focus at the same time. But I only done about, I think it's 30 shots, but I think that's too many, so it'll probably be like a 20 shot stack. But thankfully around here this tree is quite protected from the wind, so they didn't look to be in the stack when I reviewed it, any sort of movement, so hopefully the stack will come together well, and I'll show you that now. Right, probably the last shot, as the sun's getting pretty low now, is I found this little nice spotlight of well, it's sunlight as spotlight on these right here, and it's just about illuminating what I want. When you get the spotlights through the branches, they do actually move quite fast across the scene, and especially when you are doing stuff which is macro or close to macro like this, the angles move very quickly, because it's not, you don't have just like a whole tree being lit and then not lit. It's, you've got the movement of like the sun of about a centimetre or two, and then it's off the flower that you want. So sometimes you just have to be in the right place at the right time, and other times it's, you've just got to choose your target ahead of time and then hope it gets the sort of spotlight you want. But in the future I probably will be doing a video on this sort of like intimate spotlight, or as people would probably call it, dappled light sort of intimate shots, because I actually enjoy them quite a bit, because even during like the summer you can do it in late in the evening or early in the morning, and you get shots that wouldn't otherwise be lit because of the angle of the sun through the side of the canopy rather than the top of the canopy. So if you want to see that, then you'll probably have to wait till summer for that. Anyway, that's probably going to be the last shot of the blossoms, and we'll move on to the daffodils before the sun gets too low. The thing with the blossom shots is that you can be there all day, taking little intricate scenes as the sun moves around, and I just don't want to get caught up in my own sort of obsession in trying to get this particular shot or that particular shot, and then spotting another one and then another one, and then I've got 100 shots that I want to show you all. But yeah, there's a nice patch of daffodils here coming up, and hopefully I can get some shots of this. And I don't want to do macro style ones, I want to get sort of what's it called, intimate landscape sort of things, sort of what what's his name, Simon Booth does. sort of where you do see the background, but also you have the detail shot in the foreground, like, and also the way he sort of makes the abstracts from it, using out of focus and sort of high key sort of exposures as well. That's something I'd like to do with the daffodils, because obviously they're a bit bigger than the blossoms, so they're going to end up being harder to do macros without filling the whole shot with them. So I might switch back to my 24 to 70 or even my 7200 and sort of like try and make a more abstract shot of these, but I'll see what I can do with it. Right, I'm looking for a stretch of daffodils that have quite a few quite a few flowers in a row, so I can, it's a bit dark, get them in a row. Ideally I'd like to get one facing the camera, but it's trying to find the right set of them that allows me to get them. This might be alright because I've got that just there and all of them behind, and once I get down low it should come into the right sort of look I'm going for. I might go, actually, maybe one in the mid-ground would look better. Just got to look for the right one to look the right way, because otherwise it doesn't really work, because you need something to grab your eye before it, because I just want like a sea of yellow. Where is it? That the one? No. That one might be the one just there in the middle. I just got to... The thing is, the further I go down here, the less I get behind it, which means the less the effect that I'm going for isn't the one that's going to happen, is it? Ideally, I might be able to use this one, but it won't be straight down the camera. Just try not to step on the daffodils, of course. Is that the one? Go back a little bit more, might be able to get that one just behind this front one, like that. That's starting to look a bit better, sort of more what I was going for. The only problem is that it would be nice if those ones over to each side of it wasn't in the picture. Maybe I can zoom it a bit with my feet. That's more like it. If I go about here, try and get that sea of yellow behind. wet spot. If I get in the right spot, I can also get between the other yellow bits, so it doesn't overlap too much. Oh shit. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that might be quite a good one. Looking at that, I don't know which one's going to be the best in terms of the shot. That might be a good one because it's not got that part of it over there, but some down the bottom. But it's awkward trying to find enough of the daffodils to be doing that right here. Although there's some more over here, there's actually quite a few more. So I'm going to collect my stuff, which is over there, and we'll move down there a bit more. Basically, I didn't have that much luck with the daffodils over here. You might be able to see them. Yeah, it turned out they were a bit too far apart for the shot I was aiming for, so I'm going to probably have to come back to them or find a different selection of them to get a similar sort of shot. So I'll probably have to have a look around the area and see what I can find. But yeah, I'm just going to go and pick up some litter that I found, because I just don't want to leave it there because someone else has, and there's a bin right over there. So yeah, anyway, this particular thing, what I call peninsula, long straight bit, this is literally just a bit of earth covering a culvert of a stream which runs into the nearby Mill Pond, and back there is South Hill Park. But for some reason they decided to culvert it all over between the other end of the peninsula to here. And yeah, that's 1950s, 1960s town planning for you there. Anyway, we now will be going off just before the sun sets to our last location, where I'm looking to get some snowdrops. They're usually there every year. I haven't actually checked specific plants, but they're pretty consistent. So hopefully we now got a good selection of the plants of the start of spring. So I'll catch you later when we're over at the snowdrops. Right, I'm on my way there now. But as a sort of aside to this video, I did actually get another shot a few days ago of a crocus, which is sort of what led me to do this video. And I'll put it on the screen. I actually did a focus stack for it, and I used some panel lights to give it a nice even backlight, and I was actually quite pleased with it. So here it is. Right, I'm now at the last shot, and I'm all set up, and I have to be quick because this is an active path. I found a nice sprig of snowdrops. They seem to be the best that I can find out of all of them, because I think they've all got a bit ropey from this being towards the end of the season for them. but we're on the wrong side of the hill, so we've got no sun anyway, so I'm going to be using lighting. Here's my lighting setup. It is a panel light and the two RMO3s with their diffuser on, and this one's using the spike, and that one is just laying on the ground providing an uplight, and that's a downlight, and the panel is to illuminate the foreground. And I'll just show you what's on the back of this camera as the final thing. I might need to turn the panel light down a little bit, but that's the final shot. It's nothing special, but I like the thing. There's a stick in the foreground, a bit of leaf litter, so you've got the sort of autumnal look, and then the sort of spring at the top. And yeah, at 1/60th FA and ISO 640, but I'm going to have to be careful because every so often the wind goes and the snowdrops move, so I've got to time it right. And by the setup I've got for my tripod is my boom and it down quite low. So I'll take the shot and I'll show you in a sec. Right, I managed to get the shot of the snowdrops, but well, it's not a but. I decided to also get a stack because I thought I could make it a bit more sharper throughout instead of just on the flowers, and that's what really took me a long time to do, but it took me a good 20 minutes to stop the breeze from constantly coming past the flowers and moving it slightly, because I thought I'd get the first few would be still and then the rest of them would be all over the place, and of course with stacks you need them all to be quite still in the same place, otherwise it's just going to look blurry or it won't stack at all. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Like, comment, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.